All right, peace. So let me explain something to some of the moms in my comment section. No boy can escape boy culture. Boy culture is the cult. It is the realm of hyper competition and toxic masculinity. No boy can escape boy culture. That means when your son gets to middle school, especially high school, he's going to meet other boys that come from other walks of life. Moms do not know how to challenge their son's masculinity. If your son does not know how to be mentally aggressive, mentally resilient, emotionally resilient, not physically aggressive, mentally aggressive, right? Boy culture will destroy him. So let me tell you how boy culture works. Boys from other walks of life, right? Men involve themselves in hyper competition. So when he gets on a football team, he's going to experience bullying at a certain level. They're going to knock his ass down around that field. They're going to call him a bum. They're going to say you sorry, because boys like to compete at a high level. All right? They're going to make him cry. All right? They're going to challenge his masculinity. Okay? They're going to see if he has what it takes to play on that level, to play among them, and is part of a competitive nature. They're also going to laugh at him for not having a girlfriend. They're going to laugh at him for not having sex. They're going to laugh at him. Boy culture is the toxic world of boys. All right? There is no escaping boy culture. There are boys he's going to meet that already know about porn, that already know about masturbation, that already had sex. He's going to meet boys in the realm of boy culture. Boy culture is the realm in which before your son get there, he must understand how to be mentally aggressive. You understand how I'm saying what I'm saying? In order to survive it, not physically aggressive. No boy can escape boy culture. Because in boy culture, boys do not have an environment where they can formulate friendships with boys who protect how they feel, protect their vulnerability. Do you understand? That has to be instilled in them. So when somebody mentioned bullying in the comment section, yes, there are boys that are going to bully the fuck out of your son. Do you understand? That's boy culture. You understand? And what's going to happen is if he's not mentally aggressive, he's going to run with the wrong crowd, because he's going to submit to falling in line. That's why boys run with the wrong crowd. They run with the wrong gang. That's why they don't have no independence, because they have not developed that sense of self. You understand? Now, this is very important that you understand this. There is no escaping boy culture. He's going to walk into an environment where boys know 10 times more than he know. You understand? And if you think that you can hide him or coddle him from boy culture, you can't. You can't. You can't escape that. No boy can escape boy culture. Okay? It is the most, high school is the measurement of where of how his character is going to develop. There's a boy on Instagram that went viral. He was crying about his job at Starbucks. He was breaking down about customers yelling at him and how much coffee he had to make and how long the line was. He was breaking down about the job. Okay? This is just Starbucks. This is just Starbucks. This is just making coffee. People yelling at you for making mistakes, yelling in your face, right? And what a mom do? They come and tell you could quit the job. It's okay. You could quit the job. You understand? Because moms don't know how to challenge a boy's masculinity. But regardless of how you feel, boy culture is coming for your son. Peace.
Man, bravo. Well, sis, y'all love hearing from other men who have game and insight, who have wisdom and the experience to be able to speak on this topic as well. I wanna really deep dive into a few things that he said, right? And the first thing I want to bring up, he said, no boy can escape boy culture. Meaning going into middle school, going into high school, they're gonna be around other boys who are definitely gonna come at them, like he said, in a bullying tactic, especially if they're like on the football team and stuff like that. Listen, I've always spoke about that. I think that I think all boys should play some type of sports. They don't specifically have to be football, but something that puts them in a competitive nature. Because what happens is it's going to develop their toughness. And one thing that he said I thought was wonderful that he really touched on was the mental and emotional aggressiveness, not the physical, right? You get the physical aggressiveness from playing inside of a controlled competition sport. But what it does more wonders is for the young men and the boys out there is how it develops them emotionally and mentally to be resilient. And I thought that was just beautifully articulated and said, because this is something that I went through personally, through personal experience, playing on a football team. Again, you learn real quick who big dog out there, right? You learn real quick among the other peers that you with you have to step up, right? Because if you want to roll with the team at a high level and play at a high level, you have to mentally, when stuff is hard and you crying because you emotionally feel like, man, I can't reach that next level, but then they push you and your coach push you because they yelling in your face, they cussing you out, right? You get knocked on your butt and you got to get back up and get back in because nobody feels sorry for you. There's nowhere to run. Mama's not there. Daddy's not there. It's just the boys and the coach. Coach is. So what you do, you dust yourself off. You might be hurt. You might be crying. They get back in there, right? Those reps is what really builds you as a young man who's going into adulthood. Because one of the other things he said was at the kind of close to the very end was talking about the kid who worked at Starbucks, right? And how just making coffee and maybe making a mistake and customers yelling at him, he's broken down, he's crying there. But see, if he had went through some type of resilience thing, that'd be nothing to him. Yeah, he might be frustrated. Yeah, he might be upset with the customer, or maybe even more so himself. However, but because he put those reps in, right, emotional and psychological, he's ready for the world as a young boy, as a young man, right? He's went through those reps, right? He's been tested. And another thing that he alluded to was when boys are going through this boy culture, right? You mean boys from all walks of life, right? Meaning like coming from different households and different backgrounds. And like you said, some of them already don't have sex. Some of them already talking about masturbation, talking about porn. Right? This is real life. This is what they go through. This is what I went through. Right? I'm a millennial. Like I was there before the internet and right before AOL hit dial up. And now where we are now. So I've seen it with and without. And when the internet opened, man, we saw some wicked stuff online. Right? But I'm just in high school. So you can't hide your son from the world, ladies. And that's who is specifically talking to was the mothers. And you just have to understand that if you want your boy to grow into a man, he has to go through this rite of passage. He has to go through the trenches, right? He has to walk that line. And that's just what it is. And he said, no boy can escape this. I'll give you another example, right? Why it's so important to push boys when they're younger, right? I have a nephew. Right, this is probably years ago, probably like 3-4 years ago now. But I remember he came to visit, and I think he was acting up or something happened. Well, I put him out there to cut grass with me, right? And yeah, this time he was definitely smaller. He's pretty. He got a little weight on him now. But I remember we cutting the grass. He pushing, right? He like, I can't do it. He's crying, and I'm like, nah. You know what I'm saying? Let's finish. Push it. And guess what? When he got over the hump, he's crying, but guess what? He did it. He didn't like that I pushed him. at the time, but I'm sure he appreciated it. Guess what? We got at the end. He thought we was finished once he finished. Cause I had two lawnmowers, cause one was smaller, one was big. He had the smaller one, but he thought we were finished once we finished cutting the grass. No, we still got to blow. We still got to blow the leaves. Guess what? The blower was very heavy for him. I can't help you. You got to blow it. He crying about that, right? But those little moments, it ain't gonna kill him. It's only gonna make him stronger. You see what I'm saying? One more example. I have another nephew. He was playing football, right? This boy, he came over. I think my sister was going out of town, and he came over and he had a football game. I think he came over Friday. He had a football game on Saturday. He comes over. I'll be on my nephew because sometimes he be so irresponsible, right? So he comes. They come over. So Saturday, Friday going to Saturday night. We getting ready for the game. I'm like, all right, let's go ahead and dress up. He get to saying, hey, I don't have XYZ. I think it was like knee pads and helmet. I'm like, what? Bro, how you don't have your helmet, your shoulder pads, knee, like, he missing so much stuff. And I'm like, what happened? He ended up blaming his sister. No. I had to chomp him off. It's your responsibility. You're on the football team. It's not your sister's responsibility to get your equipment, right? And I had to give him the business, man. And guess what? We still went because he's a part of that team. You see what I'm saying? If I would have let him slide, and that's like him quitting. No, you joined the team, and guess what? We drove out there. His coach seen he have his equipment, but guess what he had to do? He had to carry. He couldn't play that day. That's fine, but he still got to cheer for his team. He had to carry everybody bags, equipment to the sideline as he watched. But that's a lesson for him. You see what I'm saying? No, you're part of the team. Guess what? Now you know, hey, I got to show up for my team. I got to show up the right way, especially coming to our house, right? You got to make sure you're on point. You're part of this team. So I say all that to say that is a part of boy coaching as well. And that's why it's so important to have men that's strong around young boys to develop them. You understand? And when it comes, the reason I brought those two stories up was because the example that the content creator brought up about the young boy at Starbucks who broke down crying and his mother was allowing him to quit the job. We not coddling young boy. This is why we have so many weak men now, right? Because if we don't catch them when they're young and we don't put them through allow them to go through boy culture, the rite of passage to be able to come into manhood, we're going to be lost in the sauce. So it's just so important that every young man go through boy culture, right? And this is one of the things my channel is about, is speaking to the man out there. I know it's still some strong men out there, right? But we have to be involved. And even if you see a single mom with a boy, correct him. If you see him out of line, I ain't trying to say if he, to try to parent them. But if you see him do something totally out of line, correct him. I'm sure the mom, I've done it once or twice, and the mom appreciated it. Now, obviously, you got to create that habit so once he leaves, but in my presence, he going to feel it. He going to feel it. You understand? So, anyway, every boy, like you said, has to go through boy culture. You cannot escape it. You cannot escape it. So, with that being said, I hope y'all got a lot of value. This is very, 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 very valuable video from this content creator. If y'all got any value, hit the like button, subscribe, and share this video out for somebody. I guarantee somebody need to hear this message. But with that being said, I appreciate y'all. Much love. Peace.